First, let's start with Sandstorm. Now we're just going to go straight from VTOL mode. Fairly simple. Unpeg everything. Flip his tail stabilizers so they're up out of the way. Flip his VTOLs back. Spin them back around. Loosen all this up. And I usually come down here and start at the legs. Landing gear. Separate the feet. And make sure these are pegged back in. Should hear a nice snap right there. And that one decided to play nice. Now for the feet, flip the toe forward, flip the heel back. But first, in between here, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see here. There we go. There are two little notches. Now, for Springer, I noticed that they're not quite as pronounced, and most people just take the foot as far as forward as it can go. I found that if you keep it in between these two notches, he's actually a bit more stable in his robot mode, and you can have him not leaning forward quite so much. So, show you what I mean in a moment. Make sure that's all the way up. Pull that slightly down, and let's pull out the head. It has these little places to grip, which are very difficult. Slide the head up through, and then push the chest plate down as you're pulling up the head, and voila, one head. You stand there. There we go. Alright, let's pan up so you can actually see what I'm doing. Sorry, my tripod broke, so I'm using a poor man's tripod, otherwise known as a stack of DVD cases. Alrighty. Focus. Thank you. Alright. So you see he's mostly done. We just bring up the side bits of his chest here. Tab, slot. There we go. Bring the shoulders down a little bit so that it doesn't keep popping back in. And then bring this up, snap it into place, and you actually have a few options with his backpack. You can leave it down. You can deploy these straight to the side and bring his stabilizer fin all the way down and fold it in. Snap that into place. And we forgot his fists. There we go. Flip those out. Oop. Dead on. There we go. Can do this. Can have it a bit more back, but it does tend to make him back heavy. Just have to reposition him a bit. Oh, now you don't want to cooperate. No, not going to cooperate? Nope. Oh yes, you look down in shame for betraying me. Or you can take his tail fin and stick it back up in much more of the vein of his old Generation 1 toy. Personally, I just leave it down and keep these slightly bent back. You sure his heels. Ah, there we go. That was the problem. You play nice. There we go. In this mode, he has wonderful articulation. He has upper thigh, plastic ratchet knees, a little bit of play on the ankle, bicep swivel, wrist swivel, a little bit of in and out due to transformation. Shoulders go up and out. Of course, they're blocked a bit by this back kibble, but you really don't need him shooting that far behind him. Head is on a ball joint, very expressive ball joint. Very nice late piping too. Let's see if I can get that closer. Head on. Very nice head sculpt. I really like it. It's reminiscent of the cartoon, not the toy though. But, I don't mind. I never had the original G1 toy. Alright, let's go to Spider-Man. Okay, we're going to do an honest-to-goodness transformation this time. Alright, Spider-Man actually pegs together pretty securely. There's pegs holding the arms in here, and a clip holding it together here. Now what you want to do for the start is take the spoiler, split it up like that, and this pegs in together as well. These two halves will separate. Unpeg it. There we go. Swing the leg down. And unpeg, swing the leg down. Now what you want to do here is turn the leg out from the body, then at the thigh joint, swivel that back in. Same for this side. There we go. Clip this, pegs down into, woo, my big hammy hands were in the way. There's a little hole in there. I know it's tough to see with my lighting setup. Sorry. Pegs in there. Get this out of the way. Peg in here. Flip down the exhaust for heel spurs and flip in. That. Okay, then you want to bring his hips all the way around. Come to the back, pull up. There's the peg. That's why you just pull straight up to release it from the peg. Split the arms. As you can see, there's a little peg down here. Flip forward the fists. Then just kind of bring the arms out to the side to get them out of the way. This pegs in together, just pull that slightly apart, and on this hinge, bring the shoulders down. Flip the front fender in, pull away, see the accordion's out, fold it down, and fold the chest up. Then the arms you can pretty much do with as you wish. You can bring them down here, lead them up like this. Generally I try to keep them like that. And that is Spider-Man. Now, he actually doesn't have pretty bar articulation himself. Due to his transformation, he has a double jointed knee, good range of motion, thigh swivel, in and out hips on a ratchet joint, forward back, of course the waist, which Sandstorm had, but I forgot to show because, I'm still a noob. Shoulders go out on this hinge, elbows, and there's another joint here for transformation that you're really not going to use that much except for maybe dynamic poses. Wrist goes in as well a little bit due to transformation, and actually swivels. Head only swivels from side to side. It's still a stiff joint. And he's freaking short. But he actually looks proportionately skinny, as Spider-Man should, next to a warrior. Now, should you pick either of these figures up? Well, Sandstorm here is an awesome repaint remold. I highly, highly, highly recommend him. He's just fun to change from all three modes. Spider-Man's not a bad toy. You can probably still get him online. Shouldn't be going for that expensive. The crossovers generally don't. As you can see, he's about the size of a Voyager, and you're spending actually a little bit less on him. He's got good articulation, and he's not as bad as some of the other Voyagers. Plus, he's kind of just fun to mess with too. He's got more articulation than I thought he would when picking him up. I thought he was just going to be a fun little niche piece. Now, Sandstorm's weapon. It kind of fires. It just basically goes in his hand. There you go. That's the comparison between Marvel Crossover's Black Suit Spider-Man and Generations Voyager Sandstorm.